Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Virgil, and in this corner of the internet I make design and lifestyle related videos. If any of those topics interest you, consider subscribing and hit that bell for notifications. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I thought it would be a great idea to kind of share part of my cultural heritage with all of you guys in this video. So if you didn't know, I am a second generation Asian American, so that means I am the first generation of my family to be born and raised here in the States, and I am Filipino American. Being a second generation Asian American, my family still instills a lot of our cultural heritage from the Philippines, and I always want to make sure that I learn as much as I can so I can still integrate it into my everyday life. So in the Philippines, as I've been told by my family, it's a huge deal to celebrate Christmas over there. Now, they don't have any Thanksgiving and neither do they have Halloween, although I've heard that they've started to kind of adopt it. Usually by October though, they've already lined up the streets in all the Christmas decorations and they've already put up the tree and they're expectantly waiting for the 25th of December. So I thought that why don't I share some of that whole Christmas spirit with you guys with my cultural heritage. And one of the things that really sticks out to me, because I even had the opportunity to try a little bit of an arts and crafts thing when I was a small girl, there's this type of lantern that they use every year. My family actually owns one and we put it out during the beginning of December right in front of our front door, and it's called a parol. So it's a Christmas lantern essentially that is supposed to celebrate the holiday season. So I thought that this video would be a great idea to let you guys learn a little bit more of how the Philippines celebrates Christmas over there, while also enjoying me just, illustrate with you guys on making the Christmas paroles. So as I mentioned earlier, the Christmas parol is essentially a Christmas lantern. It's often very ornamental and used as a decoration piece for the outside of your home and other buildings, as well as the streets. The parol is very important to have and pretty much the equivalent of having a Christmas tree in the house. They're traditionally made of bamboo, which they construct into a star and then cover it with Japanese or crepe paper that also has two decorative paper tails at the end. Then it is illuminated with a candle on the inside. Later on, people also started making paroles with capiche shells and other materials while lighting the inside with LED lights. Some of the newer designs don't have the paper tails and they have different shapes now. The parol symbolizes the hope and goodwill during the Christmas season. From a religious standpoint, it is to mimic the Star of Bethlehem that guided the three kings to the manger. Now, since I did mention the traditional styled Christmas parol as well as the more modern styled Christmas parol, I decided for illustrating I want to do both of them. So right now you can see that I'm starting out with the traditional Christmas parol. I also want to clarify earlier, when I said that we hang our own Christmas paroles in front of our door, I'm meaning not directly on our door like what you would expect on a Christmas wreath. Since it is a lantern, if we set it up directly on the door, it would kind of be in the way. So we have it more like in front of the door, hanging from like the ceiling area. I decided to work on Adobe Illustrator just because with the Christmas parol, everything is very geometric. Now with my illustration style, I like to focus a lot more on 2D illustration, flat illustrations, something a little bit more minimalistic but still makes a pretty big impact. And I focus a lot on line work. Now I actually do a lot of illustration work on my Instagram page, so if you are interested in seeing more of my illustrations or like my illustration style, you can check it out. I actually have the link down in the description box below. Then you can just follow me there if you're interested. I actually post pretty frequently on there, almost daily, so if you want to see more of me and my work, make sure to check it out. Okay, so while I'm still working on this, I want to let you guys know a little bit more facts about how people celebrate Christmas in the Philippines. Even though in the Philippines they already start celebrating Christmas at the start of the Ber months, the 16th of December is when the formal celebration starts for Christmas and doesn't end until the first Sunday of January when they close it by celebrating the Three Kings Feast. On the 16th, caroling starts every night from house to house, which goes on until Christmas Day. Noche Buena is a Christmas feast that happens directly at midnight of Christmas Day. Two dishes that are usually served during Christmas are Bubinka and Potobongbong. Both of them are different kinds of sweet rice cakes. After the feast, people usually open presents. There's also Medianoche, which is another grand feast to welcome the new year. On Christmas Day, families visit extended family first thing in the morning to pay their respects to everyone. Visiting godparents and paying respects to them is also very important too for the family's children, as it's socially required for the godparents to give presents or money to the godchildren. Since New Year's Eve is still technically considered Christmas time there's also some traditions they practice that we did too growing up, and one we still do today. The ones we did was jump during the stroke of midnight as children, so we would grow taller, and then one we still do is wear anything and everything that has circles or polka dots, and also buy round-shaped fruits to symbolize hope for good wealth for the new year. Now, for the designs of the Christmas Parol, I decided to reflect the Philippines flag onto it. If you noticed earlier, I was still trying to come up with a color scheme, but I ended up going with the colors of the Philippines flag, so I wanted to mimic that too for the modern Christmas Parol. Since the modern style parols are a lot more elaborate and you can add more design elements, I really wanted the flag to shine through. Like if you just glanced at it, you could already tell what the parol was trying to convey. So I included the 8-rayed sun, which symbolizes the first 8 provinces, and then the 3 5-point stars, which symbolizes the 3 main island groups. Now the colors also have symbolism behind it on their flag. White is for liberty, equality, and fraternity. Blue is for peace, truth, and justice. And red symbolizes patriotism and valor. Now, just a little fun fact, but I had learned that when the flag has the blue color at the top, then the country is at peace, but when it's upside down and then the red is on the top, then that means the country is at war. Okay, so if you're wondering why I'm putting a lot of yellowish gold lines all over the place on this modern parol design, it's because this modern parol, I am actually trying to mimic the feeling of having this modern parol made out of capiz shells, and to have the capiz shells all hold together, you would need some gold wire for the framing. Now capiz shells, at least from my personal experience, whenever you hold them, it kind of feels like a shell, obviously since it's called a capiz shell, but it's also kind of has the same feeling almost as glass, except thinner. So it's a really fragile type of material to work with, and sometimes the newer pearls made out of them, there's actually saran wrap or plastic wrap that goes over them, just so it doesn't end up falling apart, because it is a really fragile material. Now this is how my family celebrates Christmas, blending our two cultures together. Christmas morning is when we gather around the Christmas tree to open presents, and then we immediately start preparing the Christmas feast where one of our extended families come over to visit. We have a mix of foods, some Filipino dishes such as pancit, which is a noodle dish with meats and vegetables, lechon, which is roasted pig, lumpia Shanghai, which is basically a Filipino spring roll, puto, which is a steamed rice cake, and leche flan. It's a custard dessert with caramel sauce. We still have some American dishes too, such as roasted ham, mashed potatoes with gravy, dinner rolls, and green beans. After the feast, we move on to karaoke until it's time for our extended family to go back home. By nighttime, we gather around the living room to watch a Christmas movie, either one that came out on Netflix or something old that we have on DVD like the Polar Express. So now I'm just putting the finishing touches on the Christmas Parol. Then side by side I have the traditional as well as the modern Christmas Parol, and I'm just going to add Maligayang Pasko to some of the designs, as that means Merry Christmas when it's translated into English. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you got to learn a little bit more about how the Philippines celebrates Christmas over there and how my family integrates the Filipino traditions with the American traditions and then blends them two together so we can have our own Filipino American Christmas. So if you did enjoy this video, just let me know by giving this video a thumbs up and just comment down below. I'm kind of curious if there's any traditions that you guys have or any cultural background that you like to blend in together to celebrate Christmas over here. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, just let me know in the comment section below too if there is a certain holiday that you guys celebrate during this time of year. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so we can keep hanging out, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye!